Thank you, Jane, and it's good to be back here at Riddle Hall this morning. Thank you for all who have given of your time to be here. As the chair has just said, I think last night we enjoyed a very good, thought-provoking discussion. In the busyness of the mad diaries that most of us hold, it is good to take time away from some of those challenges. So that we could actually take stock, as we did last night, and do some reflection. And I think that was a useful, constructive, a positive thing to do. And it's also a real privilege for me as Chief Constable of the Police Service of Northern Ireland to actually be at this stage in my tenure also part of the next chapter, looking forward, refocusing, as the conference title talks about. And I think today's agenda is a very appropriate and a timely one, where we're looking and hearing from others' experiences around this sort of theme of collaboration and real partnership, working on delivering public services through partnership, not just doing meetings, which we've been very good at in the past. So throughout today there will be contributions not only from policing but also from partners in criminal justice, in the criminal justice system, and indeed broader public services, as well as the voluntary and private sectors. This collective approach is critical because policing can only ever be effective when it's done in partnership, and that is so much more true now that the money is going in a very firm downward trajectory. Partnership and collective and collaborative working are themes that run right through today's agenda, as you'll see from the programme in the conference pack. As we refocus on the future, I believe delivering real and effective collaboration across public services is absolutely key to working together to help build a more safe, confident and peaceful society that we all desire. This is much broader than police operational functions. This is actually about the well-being of this society and continuing the momentum actually of the peace process, in my view, and perhaps we can return to that at some later discussion point. I have spoken on many occasions of the need to improve partnership working, encouraging teams of professionals from different backgrounds to work together to solve problems, to get upstream of them, to take a more preventative approach rather than a reactive one. I have experienced that and witnessed it here in small pockets and in other jurisdictions, primarily in Scotland, and I look forward to hearing what Will Linden has to share with us in his piece. But I think that collaboration becomes absolutely essential to continuing to deliver public services with reducing public finances. The chair has mentioned that I do remind her and the policing board from time to time about the state of police finances. We're not wallowing in self-pity, to use that overused term. What we're doing is actually being realistic and also acknowledging that that is a challenge that faces public services right across not just Northern Ireland, but actually the island of Ireland, and indeed across into the UK as well. So I think the challenges to policing finances are probably relatively well articulated, and of course there is some uncertainty as we look into a new spending review. Perhaps less well known and less talked about certainly is the changing nature of demand on policing, and the chair has pointed this out. For example, the major growth in areas such as cyber-related crime and issues of vulnerability. With an average of around 1,400 calls for service in a 24-hour period for us, it's simply not possible for us to be everywhere at once. We have to prioritise all of this demand according to levels of threat and risk, harm and opportunity. And I believe that the community we serve will support us in prioritising our resources to protect the most vulnerable. I think that's what the community generally would expect of us. Be there for people in their hour of need when their need is greatest. But in order to prioritise these areas, there has to be some give somewhere else. Depending on the level of demand, at the time a call is received, for example, a report of fly tipping or a noisy party, or even a stolen bicycle. I see Alan Todd twitching there, thinking of a stolen bicycle. It may not actually receive the same immediate response as a call about domestic abuse or a report of a serious sexual offence, for example. We also have to prioritise at the less visible end of policing, because often that's where the greatest vulnerability is, in the unseen, in the non-public, in the hidden place. So things like public protection work, including child sexual exploitation, that must be balanced against other demands, like equally important things around public safety, like firearms licensing, for example. And resources for reviewing and investigating present-day serious crime need to be balanced against reviewing and investigating serious harm of the past, and we touched upon some of that last night. These are the wicked problems, these are the dilemmas that we collectively need to face, be realistic about, and explain in a better, more articulate, more convincing way to communities, lest they think we don't care. Every choice that we make has a consequence. If we put resource into one area of policing, we must take it from another. Given the significant pressures that we face in the years ahead, I believe that the public need to be involved in an ongoing conversation about how we deliver service to the community. How we deliver police service to the community, but it's actually broader than that. It's about how public services are delivered at the front end. And I know this is a view that is shared and supported by the policing board and by members of the policing board. So I'm totally convinced that changing and increasing demand and reducing budgets require more, not less, more preventative work. It requires getting upstream. It means we need to be intervening earlier. We need to be intervening in a more intelligent and an informed way. That means we need to share information about demand between agencies in a more open and a more coherent way. We need to make sure that we're intervening early and that those earlier interventions are appropriate. And all of that necessitates more effective collaboration than we currently do. I want to be honest and open with the public about how policing is changing. And I know through the Policing Board and the PCSPs, the community will continue to have an opportunity to engage and to shape and inform policing priorities. But the days of silo priorities around public service delivery, I believe, are over or are coming to an end. I think the finances will dictate that. We need joined up prioritisation, and that's why I'm so supportive of the outcomes-based approach and the outcomes-based accountability that is signposted in the current iterations of the programme for government. We need more detail, and I think many of the organisations represented in this room are working hard to make that outcomes-based approach a reality. So, listen, I'm going to finish now. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have these discussions today, and I am looking forward to the debate. Discussion and debate is always a positive thing to do, but as always, I think we need to challenge ourselves that it is more than interesting, intellectual, thought-provoking discussion. We need to be pragmatists. We need to ask ourselves, so what and now what? What will change after today? Are we really serious about collaboration? As those of us involved as service delivery agents, whether it's in policing or health or probation or social services, are we really serious about sharing information, about ceding some of our authority, about really delivering an outcomes-based approach? Will anything change as a result of today? It will if we want to make it change. That's called leadership. How will we collectively ensure that we can better deliver a better service to the community? With those challenges set out, I'm going to hand back now and wait for the incoming and the questions. So thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the day. Thank you.